She didn't expect anything to be different when she walked through the door. Keys jingling, plastic grocery bags rustling, the familiar thud of her heels against the hardwood. Same Tuesday evening as always, except I wasn't there. The house wasn't empty, exactly. The couch still sat beneath the living room window. The kitchen smelled faintly of lemon cleaner. But the silence, that new, brutal kind of silence, was the first thing that struck her. Then the little things started adding up. My boots were gone from the mat. The shaving cream in the bathroom, gone. My toothbrush, too. My gray hoodie, the one she always borrowed when she was cold, no longer slung over the armchair. Upstairs, the closet looked wrong. She stared at the hangers that once held my jackets and work shirts. My drawer in the dresser lay open, empty. That's when her gaze drifted to the candle on her nightstand. Her favorite vanilla and clove one from that little shop upstate. Resting at its base, my wedding ring. She dropped the grocery bags. I'd rehearsed the exit a dozen times. No dramatics, no yelling, just precision. I had a spreadsheet, if you can believe it. Utility transfers, bank logins, my name removed from the lease. A quiet, invisible, vanishing act. She didn't even know I'd seen the receipt. It was dumb luck, really. She left her purse unzipped on the table, and I knocked it over, reaching for my keys. That little white slip of paper fluttered out like a message in a bottle. 2 entrees, wine, dessert. Definitely not the work seminar she'd claimed. I didn't confront her. I didn't ask. After 17 years of marriage, I'd learned to spot a lie when it wore heels and perfume to a Tuesday night meeting. Instead, I started packing. The first time I met Nora was in college. She borrowed my pen in philosophy class. I remember the way she smiled, like she already knew she was going to wreck me. I was the boring one, stable, steady. I built a life like I built furniture in my garage, measured, methodical, meant to last. She was the wildfire. We bought this house 12 years ago. She picked the curtains. I painted the nursery, even though we never did have kids. We planted hydrangeas in the front yard and argued about which shade of blue they were. But somewhere between mortgage payments and quiet dinners, she drifted. And I didn't. I didn't cheat. I didn't hit her. I didn't gamble the money away, but I wasn't exciting either. I was reliable until the night I decided not to be. And so, while she was out sipping wine with her boss, I loaded the last box into my cousin Byron's truck and shut the door behind me. I didn't even leave a note, only the ring. I spent the next morning in a fog of motion. My hands worked while my mind drifted in and out of a dull ache, like a joint that only hurts after years of being overused. I boxed up memories in silence. Wedding photos, anniversary cards, vacation souvenirs. The house grew quieter with every object I removed, like it was exhaling. By noon, I was done. The place looked almost staged, like no one had ever really lived there. I'd even taken the framed photo of us from the mantle, the one she insisted on printing in black and white because it felt timeless. It felt like a lie now. I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at the indentation where her pillow used to lie beside mine. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to scream, smash something, curse her name. But mostly I felt tired. Just tired. That's when my phone buzzed. Nora. Heading out now. Want me to grab something for dinner? Dinner. Like everything was normal. Like last night hadn't happened. Like I hadn't seen the $142 dinner bill from Fleming's with 2 entrees and a $16 glass of Pinot Noir, time-stamped at 8:13 p.m., exactly when she claimed she was in a budgeting seminar. Me. No, won't be home tonight. I hit send and turned the phone off. Not airplane mode. Office, I didn't want to see what came next. I stayed at Byron's place that night. He didn't ask questions, just opened his garage and helped me unload the boxes. He knew. He didn't need the details. You don't have to explain, he said as we cracked open beers in his backyard. People like her, they think loyalty's a currency, something you earn once and spend however you want. I nodded. I think I loved her more than she loved me, or maybe just longer. We didn't talk much after that, just sat in the silence, letting the night do the talking. The next morning, I turned my phone back on. 3 missed calls, 2 voicemails, a text message. Nora, where are you? Nora, call me. This isn't funny. Nora, I'm really scared right now. Please just talk to me. Then 1 voicemail, a quiet, almost whispered recording of her saying my name twice. Then silence, then hanging up. I didn't reply. I couldn't. Not yet. She started reaching out to other people, mutual friends, my sister, even Byron. She texted me. He told me that night. Said she was worried you were in some kind of trouble. You want me to say anything back? I shook my head. Let her worry. She wasn't used to silence. She was used to being talked out of things, smoothed over, forgiven. I had done that 1,000 times over, picked peace over pride. Not this time. This time, the silence was mine. A few days later, I got an email from Nora's work address. Subject line, "Can we talk?" I didn't open it. Instead, I went back to the house with Byron to pick up a few last things. Tools, photo albums, a few boxes I'd stashed in the garage. I left the key on the counter next to the stove. Then I took one last look at the place where we'd shared a life. Or at least, where I thought we had. There was no message, no dramatic farewell, just the empty echo of a door closing behind me. Nora didn't stop trying. 2 days later, she showed up at Byron's house while I was out. She looked rough, Byron said, like she hadn't slept in days. Said she just wanted to talk. Said she didn't cheat, that you were overreacting. I laughed, a low, bitter chuckle. So now I'm the irrational one. He shrugged. She looked scared, man. Not sorry, just scared. That tracked. Guilt has a look. So does panic. That night, I laid on Byron's pull-out couch and stared at the ceiling. I thought about all the things I could say if I gave her the chance. The questions I might ask. The things I wanted her to feel. But it wasn't worth it. I didn't need her to cry. I didn't need a confession. I just needed space. And space was the one thing she never thought I'd actually take. 3 days passed before I heard her voice again. I was fixing the latch on Byron's shed when my phone buzzed with a voicemail. No text this time, just her voice. Brittle, breathless, stretched thin over panic. I know you saw something. I don't know what, but I can feel it. You don't just disappear like that unless... I swear, it wasn't what it looked like. Please, just call me. You don't get to burn everything down without even hearing me out. I replayed it twice, not because I needed to hear the words again, but because I wanted to catch the parts she didn't say. There was no, "I miss you," no, "I love you," just, "You don't get to leave me like this." She wasn't sorry. She was stunned. The control she'd quietly hoarded over the years had slipped out from under her, and now she wanted the story back in her hands. Byron poured me a coffee the next morning, nodding toward the phone on the table. "You gonna call her?" I shook my head. "Then what are you gonna do?" I didn't have a good answer. My plan had ended with me gone and her shocked. I hadn't thought past that moment, hadn't planned for the ache that still sat in my ribs like a bruise I kept pressing just to feel it again. "I think she's lying," I said finally. Byron raised an eyebrow. "Think or know?" "I know," I admitted. "But I also know she's good at rewriting things. And I don't want to be the villain in the version of the story she tells people. So I started gathering, not out of spite, out of clarity. I wanted to see it, the pattern, the choices, the evidence of when she'd started slipping away and how long I'd ignored it. Email records, calendar invites, bank statements. The hotel charge on our joint credit card 2 months ago. The one she swore was a room block deposit for a work conference. A call log showing a number she dialed almost daily that didn't belong to any client, co-worker, or friend. It belonged to Elliot Marin, her regional director. The same Elliot I met once at a company holiday party, who shook my hand and said, "You're a lucky man." I printed everything out and slid it into a plain white envelope. Then I drove back to the house. I didn't go inside. Just opened the mailbox and dropped it in. Inside was a note. "You said I don't get to leave without hearing your side. Now you don't get to pretend I never knew the truth. This is the part where I stop being silent. No signature, no threats, just facts. I didn't want revenge. I wanted to be finished." That night, she called again. This time I picked up. She didn't say hello, just launched into a breathless string of denials. It wasn't like that. He was going through a divorce. I was trying to help him. I didn't mean for it to cross a line. I let her talk. She said the word confused 4 times, broken twice. And then, finally, she said, "Sorry. But not I'm sorry I hurt you. Just, I'm sorry you found out this way." That's when I realized she wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry she couldn't control how I responded. I hung up. 2 days later, she showed up at Byron's house again. This time I answered the door. She looked smaller. Not physically, just diminished somehow. Like the guilt was wearing her down. "I wanted to see you," she said, face to face. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just looked at me like she didn't recognize the man standing in front of her anymore. "Is this really it?" she asked. I nodded. "This is me choosing myself. Finally." She swallowed hard. "I never meant to hurt you." I looked her in the eye. "But you did, and then you lied about it." She didn't have anything to say to that. So I turned and walked back inside. She didn't follow. A week later, I moved into a small rental an hour north. An old craftsman house with a crooked fence and peeling shutters. It wasn't much, but it was mine. No shared closets, no stale apologies. The first night there, I slept without dreaming. I started building furniture again. Byron helped me drag the workbench into the garage. I spent hours sanding down reclaimed wood, letting the grains speak. My hands ached in the best way. Sometimes I'd catch myself wondering if she was still calling, still spinning a story where I was the cold one, the one who abandoned her. Maybe she was. Didn't matter. One afternoon, I got a letter in the mail. No return address, just my name in her handwriting. Inside was a photo of us from our 5th anniversary and a note. "You were the best man I ever knew. I see that now. I'm sorry it took losing you to realize it. You deserved better. I hope you find it." I didn't cry. I didn't write back. But I did put the photo in a drawer. Not to keep the memory, to remind myself what I won't go back to. 6 months later, I met someone. Not a whirlwind, not a wildfire. Just a woman named Leah who liked old books and taught high school English. She asked questions. She listened. She didn't try to rewrite my story. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was living. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see the man Nora had chipped away at for years. I saw the man I'd reclaimed, the one who finally walked away and never looked back.